The maid rushed into the boardroom, breath shaking, eyes wide with fear, as powerful men watched her with cold, judgmental silence. Her worn shoes left faint marks on the polished floor, a quiet reminder she did not belong among suits and heavy decisions. The billionaire paused mid-signature, irritation rising, thinking security had failed to keep ordinary problems outside his door. She raised a trembling hand, voice breaking, yet determined, carrying urgency that silenced whispers around the long table. No one knew her name, only her uniform, yet something in her eyes forced a tension stronger than authority in the room. Executives exchanged uneasy glances, sensing tension thickening, as if a truth heavier than wealth had entered silently. The man looked at her with disbelief, pen still hovering, unaware this interruption would reopen wounds he buried years ago. Her voice was soft but steady, shaped by hardship, carrying a warning that sounded more like a desperate plea than protest. Outside the glass walls, the city moved normally, unaware a single sentence was about to change lives within seconds, forever. She took one step closer, ignoring fear of losing her job, choosing truth over survival, in a moment that demanded courage. Memories flashed in the billionaire's mind suddenly, triggered by her presence, though he could not yet understand why. Then she spoke one sentence about his family, and the room froze instantly, as if time itself refused to move forward. Her words revealed a secret about his daughter's illness, a truth hidden behind wealth, power, and carefully guarded silence. The billionaire's hand trembled, pen slipping slightly, as disbelief battled a rising fear he had buried deep for years inside. Executives leaned forward, confusion spreading, sensing the deal on the table was no longer the center of attention now. She spoke of a hospital night, a lonely corridor, and a promise he once made but never kept when hope was fading fast. His mind raced backward, recalling a small hand in his palm, fragile breaths, and a father's helpless, silent desperation. The room felt colder suddenly, as if truth carried a weight heavier than contracts, shares, and projected profits combined. Security hesitated at the door, uncertain whether to remove her or protect the fragile moment unfolding before them all. She held her ground despite trembling knees, knowing courage sometimes arrives only when fear has nowhere left to hide. The billionaire slowly lowered the pen, eyes searching her face, recognizing pain that mirrored his own hidden regrets. Board members exchanged worried glances, realizing the interruption was not chaos, but a revelation impossible to ignore. Her voice softened further, revealing she had witnessed something years ago that could change how he saw everything. Silence filled the boardroom completely as past and present collided, forcing a powerful man to face forgotten responsibility. She revealed she was the night nurse's daughter, present when his child cried for him through long sleepless hours alone. Her mother had begged him to stay that night, but urgent business called, and he left with promises he never returned. The billionaire's breath grew heavy, memory sharpening painfully, each detail striking like truth long delayed by pride. She described the child's whisper clearly, a simple plea asking why her father loved work more than her fragile life. Executives shifted uncomfortably, realizing this was not gossip, but a living memory breathing inside the room's tense silence. He closed his eyes slowly, hearing again the faint voice he once ignored, now echoing louder than any business ambition. The maid spoke gently, not accusing, only revealing what absence had done to a small heart waiting with quiet hope. She explained her mother kept the secret, believing a father deserved another chance to remember love over success. His jaw tightened, regret spreading through him, understanding wealth had protected comfort but not healed that silent wound. The deal papers before him blurred, numbers meaningless against the weight of a forgotten promise resurfacing alive again. Her courage filled the space no executive could command, proving truth can enter even the most guarded rooms unexpectedly. He finally looked at her fully, not as staff, but as witness to a moment that reshaped his understanding of himself. His voice broke quietly as he asked about that night, fearing the answer, yet needing truth more than comfort ever before. She told him his daughter waited awake for hours, holding a toy he promised to bring back after the meeting ended. The boardroom seemed smaller suddenly, walls closing in, as reality stripped power from a man once certain of control. Executives avoided eye contact, sensing they were witnessing not weakness, but a father confronting consequences long delayed. She explained her mother stayed beside the child, whispering hope, though disappointment slowly dimmed the little girl's smile. A memory surfaced painfully of a missed call, ignored during negotiation, now heavier than any loss he ever counted. The billionaire removed his glasses slowly, eyes wet, realizing success had cost moments no fortune could ever recover again. She spoke carefully, not to shame him, but to return a memory his daughter deserved him to carry honestly forever. Outside, traffic moved endlessly, yet inside, time paused, giving a powerful man space to face what he had avoided. The unsigned contract lay forgotten, ink waiting, as priorities shifted from profit toward a responsibility he could not escape. Board members remained silent, witnessing transformation beginning where arrogance once guarded his heart from uncomfortable truths. He whispered his daughter's name softly, understanding this interruption was not defiance, but a chance for redemption. The room erupted in protest, quietly controlled, executives reminding him millions depended on this decision moving forward today. He listened without anger, but something within had shifted, weighing human breath against numbers written in cold ink. The maid stood still near the table, unsure if courage would cost her job or change a future she feared deeply. He asked for reports about the hospital wing, voice steady now, choosing truth over convenience for the first time. Assistants hurried nervously, screens lighting up, revealing data hidden beneath profit projections and strategic language. Each statistic spoke of survival rates, fragile recoveries, families saved because that wing remained open to hope. His heart tightened, reading names of children treated there, imagining faces he never saw beyond financial summaries. Board members argued responsibility to investors, yet their words sounded distant against the weight of living stories. He remembered his daughter's small fingers gripping his sleeve, fear softened only by presence, not promises delayed. The maid lowered her eyes respectfully, believing her role ended, yet sensing something irreversible had already begun. He rose slowly from his chair, posture no longer commanding power, but carrying the gravity of awakened responsibility. With calm certainty, he ordered the signing postponed indefinitely, choosing life over profit despite rising opposition voices. A stunned silence followed his decision, as if the room struggled to understand a power shaped now by compassion instead of profit. The chairman warned of losses, reputation risks, and investor backlash, yet his voice lacked the certainty it once carried. He listened respectfully, then spoke of nights no father should miss, and promises no wealth can repair once broken forever. The maid remained still, heart racing, realizing her courage had not created chaos, but awakened truth long suppressed inside him. Assistants exchanged glances quietly, witnessing leadership changing from authority alone to responsibility rooted in human value. He ordered a full review of the hospital program, demanding transparency about impact beyond financial performance charts. Executives resisted gently, but conviction in his tone made debate feel smaller than the moment unfolding before them. He walked toward the glass wall, seeing reflections of himself layered with memory, regret, and an unexpected fragile hope. Turning back, he thanked the maid sincerely, not as employer to worker, but as a father, acknowledging a guardian of truth. Tears filled her eyes quietly, understanding respect, given publicly, restores dignity often taken silently by harsh circumstance. The contract remained unsigned on the table, symbolizing a future now uncertain, yet morally clearer than before. For the first time in years, he chose not control, but conscience, accepting the cost of becoming accountable again. News of the postponed deal spread quickly through the building, stirring confusion, curiosity, and quiet resistance among staff. Investors demanded explanations urgently, yet he answered calmly, stating, "Human life cannot remain secondary to projected growth." Some executives resigned in protest, unable to accept leadership guided by conscience rather than predictable financial advantage. He visited the hospital wing personally that evening, walking corridors once avoided by memory and unspoken regret. Machines hummed softly around recovering children, each fragile breath reminding him responsibility begins where indifference once lived. Parents recognized him quietly, surprise mixing with gratitude, unaware a simple interruption had led him back there again. The maid stood near the entrance, humbly, invited by him, witnessing change she never expected to see unfold openly. He spoke with doctors attentively, learning names, stories, and struggles hidden behind statistics he once reviewed distantly. Standing beside a child's bed, he promised support, not as benefactor seeking praise, but as father honoring a vow. Emotion filled the ward gently, not dramatic, but sincere, as presence replaced absence that once defined his choices. The maid lowered her gaze respectfully, realizing redemption does not erase past, but reshapes what follows with courage. That night he returned home changed, carrying not victory but responsibility, accepted willingly for the first time fully. Weeks passed quietly, yet his decision reshaped priorities, proving leadership guided by conscience can rebuild trust slowly. The hospital wing expanded services, funded fully, becoming a refuge where fragile lives found care without fear again. Employees noticed change in him daily, humility replacing distance, responsibility shaping actions beyond public attention alone. He invited the maid to his office respectfully, offering gratitude not through charity, but through recognition of courage. She accepted calmly, requesting only fair work and dignity, proving integrity seeks respect rather than reward or praise. He announced publicly the program's protection, acknowledging mistakes openly, transforming regret into accountable leadership forward. Families once unseen became central to company values, reminding success must protect those without power or influence. His daughter watched proudly, health restored, seeing a father present not in promises, but in consistent daily care. The boardroom, where silence once ruled, now carried memory of truth spoken by a voice once ignored completely. The maid continued her work humbly, yet her courage lived in decisions affecting countless unknown families everywhere. He kept the unsigned contract framed quietly, a reminder redemption begins when power listens to humanity first always. And so one sentence changed a destiny, proving compassion spoken bravely can awaken hearts wealth alone cannot reach.